I have made quorum calls. I think we're going to be okay. I wasn't able to reach Jill Marks. Kimberly Edwards said she would be coming on. Also, Koopa said she would come on, and also, who was the other? Carmen Rodriguez. Carmen Rodriguez confirmed.
All right, the worst scenario, we just discharge everything to the full board for the next meeting.
I think we'll get the quorum though.
Okay, Mickey, we got quorum.
It's 6 PM, so whenever you're ready.
I know that.
All right. Fellow colleagues and committee members, I'm going to start the meeting off. Welcome to everybody. Hope everybody is safe and well. All right, Mickey, you ready to record? Or Al? Thank you. Board of Alders notice, New Haven. The Community Development Committee of the New Haven Board of Alders will meet on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020, video conference at https://bit.ly/38SF, capital Y, capital O, 8, and by phone at area code 646-558-8656. Webinar ID 991-5773-7534. Phone only, passcode 4964843238 to hear the following items. Item 1, LL-2020-0463. Order of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven approving an amending and restating development agreement and land disposition agreement by and between the City of New Haven, Blula Land Development Corporation, Inc. for the development of 316 Dixwell Avenue and 340 Dixwell Avenue and 783 Orchard Street. Item 2, LL-2020-0460. Order authorizing the City of New Haven acting through the Livable City Initiative to negotiate and to enter in a contract of sale with respect to the New Haven construction property located at 15 Thomas Street, 23 Thomas Street, 27 Thompson Street, 523 Winchester Avenue, 531 Winchester Avenue, 532 Winchester Avenue, 535 Winchester Avenue, 539 Winchester Avenue, and 575 Winchester Avenue, authorizing the mayor of the City of New Haven to execute and deliver any and all necessary documents to complete the sale of said properties. Item 3, LM-2020-0414. Order the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven approving the sorry, I'm tired today. Sorry. Disposal of the portion of a parcel of land known as 20 Thompson Avenue, East Haven, which is currently a part of Tweed New Haven Airport, to Robert Celentano, and to acquire from Robert Celentano a portion of the parcel of land known as 12 Washington Avenue, East Haven, to be used for purposes of Tweed New Haven Airport. These items are filed and available at https://negar.com/COM/CALENDAR.COM/CALENDAR.ASPX. For accessibility related requests, please contact 203-946-7833V or 203-946-8582 TTY prior to this meeting. Public comment testimonies may be submitted by email to publictestimony@newhavenct.gov before 2 p.m. the day of the meeting. If you wish to present testimony at the meeting, you must register in advance at https://bit.ly/38SF capital Y capital O 8 or by calling 203-946-7934 before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. To view the meeting online, go to https://bit.ly/3ngn capital O1 capital N of the Board of Alders YouTube page. Thank you all for attending, and I would like to have my committee announce themselves, starting with my vice chair, Mr. Douglas.
Frank Douglas, Ward 2, co-chair of the Community Development Committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the next one, Evelyn, Carmen Rodriguez
Alder Carmen Rodriguez, Ward 6.
and Ms. Kupo.
Ellen Cupo, Ward 8.
Thank you for attending and welcome everyone. We are going to jump to item 2 first to hear about the properties that to develop these new homes at these address. So if there's anybody from the public about purchasing these properties, I would like to have them speak earlier than wait in this meeting. So who's ever here to present for item 2, please present.
Hi.
Name and address for the record.
Hi, Kathy Schroeder, Deputy Director LCI, 170 Borman Road, East Haven, Connecticut, 06512.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. I am looking for the approval to sell the City of New Haven development sites in the Newhall section of New Haven. It's the Thompson Winchester. There are 9 homes. There is 3, and I'm going to have to get to that, 3 80% AMI homes that are being sold to homeowners, and the other 6 are for 100% AMI and under. All the homes carry a 30-year homeowner occupant restriction. Each homeowner is vetted for income. If it's an affordable home to them, which means 30% of their annual income cannot go towards more than 30% towards your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And they have to occupy. I am going to request an amendment from the original submission that I had submitted. I'm not sure if you've gotten that because we changed one of the houses from 100% AMI to 80. Originally, we were only going to have 2 of the 9. We have 3 of the 9 that are at 80% AMI and under, which is a little bit more affordable for homeowners. So I just wanted to make sure that that amendment was given to you. So the purchase prices for the 100% AMI are $215,000. The purchase prices for the 80% AMI is $170,000. All the houses were listed with 2 agents. They were split between 2 agents. It was an open offer period. And then the offer period was closed, and those that put in an offer were vetted for the qualifications. Out of the 9 homes, 2 are going to be a lottery because we had 2 qualified offers on those houses. One was at 27 Thompson, the other one was at 523 Thompson. The other ones only ended up having 1 offer that qualified, 1 home buyer, I should say, that qualified on the other 7 homes. The lottery is Monday at 11 o'clock at 27 Thompson. Nope, 523 Thompson and 11:15 at 27 Thompson. Let's see. I think that is it. I could go through the project details. It did submit a package, and all the details are in the package, as well as the process in which we used to get to the lottery. And I think that's it. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you. I just want to make one announcement. I want to acknowledge that Majority Leader Richard Furlow is present and Alder Jerry Antunes. Anybody from the committee has any questions? Just raise your hand so I can see. Alder Douglas?
Yes, just one question.
Go
Well,
ahead.
so you said owner occupied, you have to stay in the property for how long?
You can own the property for as long as you want. If you go to sell it, there's a 30-year restriction on it. So if you go to sell it, You have to sell it to another owner occupant.
And how long do you have to stay in the house?
Well, I can't restrict you to stay in there forever. So if I own the house and I have a 30-year mortgage and I don't leave, I'm in there for 30 years.
Okay,
If I choose to sell it in 10 years, I have to sell it to another owner occupant.
okay.
And the city does do monitoring on owner occupant restrictions.
And that's of the same median income?
Yes, it's going to be restricted for 30 years, depending on which house it is, at either 80% or 100%, depending on the house.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Anybody else has any questions? I think I see Alder Rodriguez. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To piggyback on Alder Douglas's question, I know that when Jim Paley's program, you had to live your home and ensure that you were there 5 years. So that's kind of the clarification that I think we're looking for, because you have to live your property. Obviously, like you said, you can't hold anyone to that, but there was a stipulation many years ago that it had to be owner occupied for at least 5 years. And if you did sell it, again, you would sell it to someone who fell into the same category as the previous owner. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't hold you to the 5 years. The house itself is an owner occupied restricted to either an 80 or 100%, and it has to be owner occupied for 30 years. So if you choose to live there for 5 and sell it, you sell it to another owner occupant at the same AMI as that house has been restricted for, which is either 100 or 80. If that next person decides to sell it, then they have to sell it to an owner occupant for a max of 30 years. So we sell it in 2021, 2051. That house will remain owner occupied. And it will be monitored as such
Okay.
for 30 years.
Thank you, Mr.
Not
Chair.
by me, because I don't think I'll be here in 30 years, but by somebody.
Thank you, Alder Carmen Rodriguez. All right, Ms. Ellen Kupo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to just ask, how many of the homes are under contract for sale?
They are under contract for sale contingent upon approval by the board. All but 2, which is the lottery that's taking place on Monday.
So how many in total?
7 are under contract right now, pending board approval.
Okay. When do you expect that they'll all be sold?
The completion dates are varying. So we're looking to complete, they're going to vary as they go, but between January and March. So they will close between January and March. Most of them are have a pre-commitment. They can't get final commitments on their lending because of the stipulation in the contract of getting board approval. That's why I'm here. But I should have everybody, and they all sold and occupied, I would say by March or April.
Okay. And then my last question, Mr. Chair. I know that we're all well aware of the fact that we're, bracing, heading into another spike of COVID. I think it's reasonable to say that we should be concerned about employment for those of us who haven't already gone through this very difficult time. And I just wondered, given a spike in COVID, do you guys anticipate that this may affect sales? How might that actually impact the timeline before March or April?
I don't foresee an issue with these home buyers. Some of them work for Yale University. Some of them own their own businesses. I don't foresee that being a problem because they've hung in there this long with us since actually May and June when we were offering the houses. So I don't foresee that being a problem. If there is a rental component in each of these structures as well, which will help them, it's not something I take into consideration when they're buying. So when I say that they have to be affordable, it's affordable on their income alone without any rental. So if, God forbid, if they get a tenant and they can't pay because of what we're in, they still can afford their mortgage.
Okay.
So that was a big thing for me to make sure that they can sustain themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to put somebody in a position of losing their home within a year of buying it.
That's important. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will acknowledge that Alder Edwards has joined us. I don't know if she would like to have any questions. If she, Alderman Edwards, would you have any questions on this, seeing that you joined us late?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure if you covered what I was going to ask, but my question was, one of the questions was the amount of houses that were under contract currently. And you said 7 of them were under contract and 2 were not?
Correct.
And does that include the one we received information on where you were requesting a change in the pricing?
Correct. One of that's the one that one is not under contract, and 27 Thompson's not under contract. Those are the 2 lotteries that are going to occur on Monday, because we had multiple qualified offers on those 2 properties. So we're going to do a lottery. There's two individuals on both.
Okay. Those are the only questions I have for right now. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions that they might want to ask?
Yeah.
Alder Douglas, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so can you explain, Kathy, that lottery, how does that work?
Well, like I said, we had an open offer period, and we got multiple offers, 2 qualified on those houses. So we're going to have a lottery at the site. They were given a certificate of approval that they qualified, and they were issued a number. On Monday, the individuals will be present. They requested to be present, can't require it because of the situations we're in. They will be writing a number on the back of a ticket, a raffle ticket. They'll put it in a bucket, and somebody's going to pull a number. No names, because I don't want names. It won't be me. So I'm the only one that knows the numbers. So it'll be somebody else.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
All right, is there any other questions? If not, if anybody from the public would like to speak on this item, would you please raise your hand by this raised hand symbol, or message Mr. Lucas that you would like to speak? I know there's some attendees. I'm not sure if they're here to speak on these items, but I would like to give them an opportunity to speak. Mr. Lucas, has you noticed anybody? Or Mickey?
No, there are no raised hands at this time.
All right, I'm gonna ask again, is anybody in the public that would like to speak on this item? Anybody from the public would like to speak on this item? All right, then, thank you. We will move now to item 1. That would be Beulah Land Development. Is anybody here to speak on that?
Yep, give us a second. You brought him in next? Good, okay.
I am all set to go. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's staying safe. And sorry about.
You're good, Mr. Chair. Acting Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All right. Name and address for the record, who's speaking on this. I think there's 2 of you. You could both do it at the same time if you're both on.
Mr. Chair, my name is Darrell Brooks from Beulah Land Development Corporation. I live at 170 Stevenson Road in New Haven. I believe LCI was going to make the presentation, but I believe there's an LCI board meeting at this time. So as a representative from Beulah Land has put a request in to purchase 316 Dixwell Avenue for the purposes of building 69 units of affordable housing in Dixwell. Beulah Land has gone through a number of already city boards for approval, city plan, zoning, and the Board of Zoning, and all have been approved. And so at this point in juncture, we have a amended draft LDA before the board to consider the redraft for 340 Dixwell and the purchase for 316 Dixwell. I'm not sure if there's any other things that need to be addressed by me, but that's what you have before you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Piscatelli, would you like to add something on, name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Michael Piscatelli. I reside at 353 Summit Street in New Haven. I'm the Economic Development Administrator for the city. As Daryl said, Arlevia is over in the other Zoom on the LCI board meeting, but that's a good top level summary. What's before you tonight, important to recognize, we had sold years ago under a different LDA to Beulah, the corner property, sort of the Joe Gray property as it might have been known, or the old Mobil gas station. Those go back a little bit farther. So what we have now, and what's really exciting about this particular project, particularly with the partnerships that Mr. Brooks has been able to put together, is the aggregation of additional city property, which is out to 316 Dixwell, which is our old Opportunities Center. So it would be an amendment and restating of that existing LDA. And then we're adding in the new property to make a much more special and unique project out of this. And if you allow me, I could share the screen, and Jeff Spiritus, who's on the development team, can help walk you through what the buildings will look like, the mix of uses, and in particular, the new, more eco-friendly design related to the mass timber construction approach, which by now you've probably read about in the Independent and elsewhere if you haven't heard previously. Jeff, why don't you take it from there, and then we can close with some of the project details.
Thank you, Michael. So this project 340 plus Dixwell is a project of 69 housing units. Can everybody hear me? Oh, sorry. Jeff Spiritus, 270.
There was one property, really big tree fell, but I wanted to thank the management company of that house. They look really nice.
Go ahead, Jeff. Introducing yourself.
Sorry. Jeff Spiritus, 276 Riverside Drive, New York City, New York. 340 plus Dixwell is a 2-building project. One building at 316 Dixwell, and the other building that's at 340 Dixwell, the former Joe Great site, and 783 Orchard Street. These two separate buildings are joined by parking, and there are 69 units, 80% of which are for tenants at 60% AMI or less, between 25% and 60% AMI. The remaining 20% of the units will be at market rate. 20% of that 80% of affordable units will be supportive housing units for people experiencing homelessness. And this, you see the building from Dixwell. At this point, the Dixwell side has 2 commercial spaces for retail use, for neighborhood retail use, and the lobby, and our program spaces for building and property management. And then upstairs are apartments. And on the Orchard side, there are 4 apartments on all 4 floors. And on the bottom floor, they're set back and a little bit higher than the street, set back with planters in front. The building will be made from mass timber, which is a healthy, durable, quick, natural building structure process, and the building will be passive house as well, which reduces utility costs by approximately 75 or 80% from code utility costs. And on the roofs of the buildings will be solar panels that will provide sun power so that we don't have to consume as much power from the utility.
I can scroll through just quickly, Jeff, given you covered a lot of this in the
Right.
presentation of it, but this will be in the board's package in the text in terms of the typology of the units, the requirement for affordable housing. What's not in the package gives you a sense for the timeline. Some of you may have heard a little bit about that at the parallel proceeding related to the tax abatement and the request to get it in front of CHAFA so that this project can go into construction and complete by the end of 2022.
Thank you, Michael. Yes. Here's the ground floor. In the off-white are the two commercial spaces. You can see in the center area some parking. There's parking there. There's parking just to the right, but not shown. And there's parking also at 316, which is towards the top of the page on the right. Folks with cars will enter on Orchard and leave on Dixwell. And here are some of the apartments. They are a mixture of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. A rendering showing the exposed mass timber walls and ceilings on the left, in the front where the window is, and the ceiling itself. So the mass timber in this case comes as cross-laminated timber and is installed in panels and left exposed for a natural, healthy environment that improves concentration, reduces incidence of asthma, and helps reduce heart rate. It's a very natural living experience, very quiet and very sound. And here's some information about mass timber and its benefits, which I fairly well covered. A picture of a mass timber panel going on top of a building. These panels are up to 10 feet wide by 40 feet long. A mass timber interior where you can see, the ceiling, again, the ceiling and one of the walls on the right exposed. And here's the Orchard Street rendering. And you can see the planters in the front at the street level. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is anybody else would like to speak on this from this group? All right, then I'll open it up for my committee members to ask questions. Alder Douglas? Okay, I didn't see his hand. Oh, well. Let's see. Who else? I'll just see what's on my screen right now. Alder Cupo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, I'm just going up my screen. Alder Rodriguez?
I also don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
All right. Alder Edwards?
No questions at this time, Mr. Chair.
Alder Douglas, did you have any questions? You're on mute.
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Messing with the screen.
Okay.
No, it's like a good thing. No questions.
All right. Wonderful. I just have one question on this development project. Is there going to be an opportunity for our young men and women to have an opportunity in an apprentice program to learn some trades?
Absolutely. Daryl, do you want to speak about this?
One of the things, Alder Sal, that we wanted to do with this particular project was to begin to create an opportunity for young contractors to participate in the mass timber, assembling of the mass timber, so that they would be the first of their kind to do that kind of construction in New England, and then have the opportunity to branch out as mass timber is beginning to take off. As Jeff brought us down to New York, there's a number of mass timber projects that are happening down in New York, and some are slated to happen in Massachusetts. So it's an opportunity. It's a really growing industry, and it's an opportunity for us to really expand. And so our whole objective is try to bring in young contractors to assemble and work together with the mass timber erector so that they can get that experience and then be able to move on to further projects in the region.
All right, thank you. That's all. I'm really concerned about our young men and women having an opportunity to get a trade, because a lot of our students in New Haven are not going to college, and what's left is trades. And as long as we're making an attempt to give them opportunities, that is a great gift that we can give to our young men and women of New Haven. So thank you. Has any questions in the committee on anything that we might have missed or came up at the last moment in your thinking? If everybody is fine with that, then
Mr. Chair,
yes,
just a question, if you don't mind.
go right ahead.
Well, you did mention retail space. So what are you thinking as far as retail space, and possibly the folks that are living in these units? Would there be an opportunity for like a co-op grocery store where they are also engaged and involved in that kind of business there?
Daryl?
To be quite honest with you, no, we have not thought about a potential co-op, the commercial space. That's something certainly that we'd be more than willing to take a look at. Again, Beulah Land's perspective has always been about engaging and empowering and uplifting folks from the community. So that's certainly an idea that we will more than certainly be more than happy to look into. But from the perspective of having a set plan for the commercial space, no, we do not have one at this time.
We just certainly hope that they will be local operators of that space from the community.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Is any other questions? All right. Well, seeing I started this way, is anybody from the public would like to speak on this item? Please raise your hand to notify our staff. Has anybody indicated anything, Mickey or Mr. Lucas? No, I'll ask again.
No.
Anybody from the public would like to speak on this item? Is anybody from the public would like to speak?
Got one comment, sir.
We have one. All right.
I'll post the link and the phone number.
All right, Ms. Kidd.
Good evening. My name's Claudette Kidd, 187 Howard Avenue. Hello, Alder Kimberly Edwards. I remember I used to teach your daughter. I wanted to say I love the work that Daryl Brooks is doing. I've been on a few meetings where he's talked about some of his plans and his innovations. And my question is, when these students get involved in the Young Contractors program with the developers, will they get a kind of qualification at the end of it?
Can somebody answer that question for her?
So thank you, Ms. Kidd. I really appreciate the the vote of support for the work that we do. So it's not really a vocational kind of learning opportunity as much as it is for an established contractor to come in to learn the new mechanism of training. There is not a certificate at the end of this process. And it's just really exposing them to the experience of having the opportunity to build mass timber. There's one other piece that I didn't add is that, one of the things that we're going to be looking to do is not just mass timber, but also looking to encourage, electricians, plumbers, painters, also who are part of the trades to be a part of this project. So, but to answer your question specifically, no, there will not be a certificate at the end of this program other than having an experienced contractor learning this new typology or methodology of construction.
Okay, thanks.
Do you have any more questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if it pleases, just want to acknowledge our project manager, Arlevia Samuel, and family has joined us, as well as Michael Telesford from Help USA, who's a member of the project team. I just wanted to thank them for all of their really, really hard work trying to figure out a very complicated project. You saw how narrow and a little bit bizarre the site is, not only to use a new technology, but also to fit it on a somewhat awkward parcel.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Kelly.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you very much, Olivia, for all your guidance and support.
Okay, so is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak on this? Well, that's again, anybody from the public? Anybody from the public? Mr. Gugus, you have another question?
No, I maintain, a motion to close the public portion. I make a motion to close the public portion.
Well, we have one more item, so we'll let that.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Thank you. One more item. All right. All right, so we'll now move on to item 3. I want to thank everybody for their presentation and their hard work and their commitment to our city of New Haven. Thank you to all for this project. All right, now we'll be moving on to item 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Michael Piscatelli, Economic Development Administrator, reside at 353 Summit Street in New Haven. If perhaps you could welcome Sean Scanlon, Executive Director of the Tweed New Haven Airport Authority, and Carlos Ezagare, who's the project manager on this particular aspect of Tweed, to the main room here. They're going to walk you through what is a proposed land swap between Tweed and one of the abutters, and it relates to a safety improvement with one of the taxiways. They'll walk you through it in a little bit more detail. You'll see it in terms of the documents submitted to you as an instrument specifically related to the land swap, because Tweed is owned, the land that Tweed is on is owned by the city of New Haven. So we are involved in this as the landowner. And because the swap of land affects our demised property, it is something that requires the board's approval. And Sean and Carlos can walk you through the details of that.
Thank you, Mr. Piscatelli. And so once they're on, please name and address for the record.
Hi, Alder DeCola. My name is Sean Scanlon. I live at 405 North River Street in Guilford, Connecticut, and I'm the Executive Director of the Tweed New Haven Airport Authority.
Thank you. Well, I guess is Carlos going to get on, or is he on?
Yeah, I'm here, Alder DeCola. Carlos Ezagare. I think Sean may lead off, but I'm Carlos Ezagare, 244 McKinley Ave, New Haven.
Thank you. I just want to get this formality out so we could engage now in the conversation.
Thank you, Alder.
Thank you. Mr. Scanlon, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And to all of you, thank you for your time tonight. As I said, I'm Sean Scanlon. I'm the Executive Director of the Tweed New Haven Airport Authority. And as Mr. Piscatelli said, we're here tonight to talk about a land swap. And the reason for that land swap is because the Federal Aviation Authority contacted us last year to tell us that our taxiway, the place that the plane basically goes from the hangar to the runway, was no longer in compliance with the FAA standards, meaning that the length and the distance between the taxiway and the runway was no longer in compliance with their standards. It needed to be longer apart. And so I want to be very clear at the outset, this has nothing to do with lengthening our runway. It has nothing to do with expanding our plans at the airport. It simply has everything to do with making sure that we are in compliance with FAA regulations when it comes to the runway safety taxiway areas. We have until next year to do this. And to do it, we basically need to come to an agreement with two property owners in East Haven, not in New Haven. And the reason we're here with you, as Mr. Piscatelli just said, is because the airport owns the property. So we therefore need the airport, or the Board of Alders rather, to convey some of our old land that we no longer need for aviation purposes to the homeowners, and for the homeowners to convey that land to the city that we do need. And that is the purpose of us being here tonight. We have reached a deal with one of those homeowners. His name is Mr. Robert Celentano. He lives on Washington Avenue in East Haven. And that is exactly why we're here tonight. I'm not sure if Carlos has anything else to add from a legal perspective, but that is the plain English perspective. So,
Sean, do you want me to share my screen quickly to show them the map?
Sure.
Chairman DeCola, can I just have screen share so I can show them put the runway up for the committee?
Sure, Mr. Lucas, can you grant that?
Or it's also in the packet, but I don't have the packet. I can't share yet as of yet, but Mr. Lucas may be working on it.
They want to give Carlos screen share.
He has it.
So Sean, you can show them a little bit, walk through. This is how it will look when the project is completed, right? Do you want to take me through a little bit of what we're looking at here, or I can help as well?
Yeah, if you want to go through, Carlos, that's fine.
Okay, so here, as you can see, the existing runway is what's crosshatched here, and it needs. I'm sorry, the existing taxiway is what's crosshatched here, sort of in north of the main runway at 220 there that you see down at the bottom, which is not marked too clearly. And you'll see they need to move the taxiway back. What is the footage again that it needs to be from the runway? It's in the FAA. It's the FAA. Mike may know. Is it 400 feet, I believe? Yes. So they need to move it. They need to move the taxiway 400 feet away from the main runway to come into compliance with FAA regulations. So you can see the two blues are where the new taxiway will ultimately run once it's been moved back. And then the Celentano portion is the piece there to the there's three arrows on the left-hand side of the drawing, and then if you can see, one is the one closest, the one to the far, which would be, I guess, our far right, is pointing to a piece of wetlands there. That is the first piece that they will be acquiring from Mr. Celentano that will then allow them to begin to complete the taxiway compliance. So and then the piece that the city is that Tweed is selling is adjacent to that piece. I'll show you. I have a better illustration that can give you an idea of what you're looking at, what Tweed will be swapping. Hold on. I have it somewhere. I thought I had it closer. I'm sorry, bear with me here. I thought I had it up, but it's not showing up. Where is it here? Let's see, I'll get to it here. Okay. Can you see this now? So this piece to your.
Nope. Your screen is not sharing at the moment.
Oh, okay, it's not sharing. Okay. Let me stop share and then reshare. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So this piece to your left here is the piece that the city will be acquiring from Celentano. You can see it's almost the exact same size and square footage from the piece that Tweed will be swapping with Mr. Celentano. And it runs behind a couple of the existing hangar buildings. Both of them are primarily wetlands, and there's no plans to build on them from the Celentano perspective as of right now, and it would be difficult to build on due to the fact that it's wetlands.
So, thank you. Any other more of a presentation? This is pretty simple, I guess.
Yeah, Alder DeCola, only thing I would add is that we had 2 separate appraisals done of this to ensure that it was of comparable value, and both of those appraisals concluded that it was in fact of comparable value. So I think this is important for the committee to know.
Thank you. All right, so all right, then I'll open it up to the committee. Does anybody from the committee would like to ask any questions on this item? I don't see any hands right now. Anybody from the committee has any questions? I see Alder Edwards, I see your hand.
Yes, I just had, thank you, Mr. Chair. I had one quick question, just making sure I didn't miss it. You spoke about the property exchange, and you needed to do 2 exchanges, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Do you have information on the other exchange yet, or?
It's a good question, Alder Edwards. We have not reached an agreement with that second property owner yet. So we've only reached an agreement with Mr. Celentano, but because of the time constraint that the FAA has put on us, rather than wait until we get that second agreement, they would like to see some progress being made on this. And we wanted to put forward the first agreement to you all first until we get that second agreement.
Okay, so that was one question. And my second question would then be how, once this advances and progresses, say if this gets approved and we do this, what do we need to do to kind of ensure that we're not losing out with the exchange with the other property owner, and to make sure this is still a viable part of a project, even though I know it's an FAA requirement, because with Tweed losing business and airlines pulling out on us, I know COVID's an issue and different things like that. Like, how do we ensure we're not just putting money down the toilet?
If I understand your question correct, Alder, I think you're asking, how do we ensure that the second deal will get done? Is that what you're asking?
In a sense, yes, that, and without causing us further hardship because of the money we're not making using Tweed properly or whatever.
Sure. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So we're confident that we will get a second deal with the second property owner. We continue to be in negotiation with that individual and his family to get the proper authority that we have and that we're here tonight talking about with Celentano. And by doing so, we will not only comply with federal regulation, but we will make the airport safer. And when, to your point, COVID is under control and we are through this virus and into next year, there's a vaccine and people are a little more confident with air travel, I really and fully expect that we will have other air carriers operating out of New Haven. And with that, we will see the airport continue to progress in the right direction. And this will not have been an investment for naught. You will start to see something from that. So, and again, this has nothing to do with our long-term plans. This is simply about the FAA noticed that there was a problem. They came to us, they asked us to fix it, and now we're trying to fix it.
Thank you, Mrs. Scanlon. And I have no further questions at this time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other alder has any questions on this item? I'm not seeing any hands. So I'll ask again, any other alder have any questions?
So you don't see my hand, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, Alder Douglas.
So I don't know, if this makes sense, but are the properties of equal value?
Yes, Alder.
The fact that there's wetlands involved here.
Yes, Alder, it's a good question. There were two different appraisals that were done on both properties, and they determined, both of the appraisals determined that is it of equal value.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no more further questions.
Thank you, Alder Douglas. Any other colleague would like to ask a question? Seeing none, anybody from the public would like to speak on this item? Anybody from the public? Are we noticing any hands? Mr. Lucas?
There are no, we got one. Here we go.
We got one? Okay.
Preclude us from
Not sure what's going on with this one. Let me bring in the other ones. Maybe you're on 2. Maybe this one will work better.
She's muted is the problem.
Well, she's got to unmute.
Are you muted?
No.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Hit okay.
Hello. Hi,
Name-
Brian Godet, 10 Washington Ave, East Haven. Questions I have regarding the transfer. I do understand you are saying it is like for like in properties. I'm concerned about trees being removed in that area, which is directly absorbing sound from the runway in the taxiway to my residence, as well as, is it going to be expanding the junkyard that's currently over there into the wetlands? I understand you do say that there is no plans to build at this time. Is there a guarantee it's not going to be built later on due to the fact it's wetlands? Or is the junkyard just going to have a bunch of trees cut down and expanded?
All right, can somebody answer that question?
Alder DeCola, and through you to the gentleman, I don't know that I can give you any sort of guarantee about what the future will hold on that property. But I do know that I don't know anything about expanding the junkyard.
What about the trees?
Again, I can't speak to what that gentleman will do with his property. That's his right under property rights that we have in this country. Not something that we can dictate to him. All we can control is what we do on our own property, and there's no plans as of right now to do anything with that property other than to be in compliance with the taxiway.
What about the Wetlands Conservation Act?
Carlos, I don't know if you can chime in here at all to assist with this gentleman's question, but I'm not sure there's anything that I can tell you to answer that question definitively.
Tell me the wetlands are going to be protected. Tell me the trees are going to be preserved. And tell me they're not going to be expanding a junkyard.
Well, I can assure you that we certainly wouldn't be doing anything that would be afoul of any sort of local environmental rules or local zoning when it comes to the environment. But I can't tell you what he will do with his own property that he's now acquiring.
Worth noting through the chair that, Mr. Celentano or any other owner on the East Haven side is subject to the local planning and zoning in East Haven. So even when the Tweed Authority has had to do things, we have to go before East Haven P&Z and East Haven Wetlands. It's the same sort of regulatory regime that we have.
Thank you, Mr. Piscatelli. Does that help you with your questions, sir?
Well, it doesn't quite put me at ease. It just tells me it's going to be prolonged for more meetings. I'm concerned about the wetlands. I'm concerned about trees being removed. I'm concerned about the junkyard expanding. This is my backyard, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Mr. Gaudet, through you, Mr. Chair, if I can, perhaps you and I can talk tomorrow. I'm happy to talk to you further about this in detail and bring in some of the guys that are on my team that have worked on this issue and are probably a little more familiar with the project ins and outs of specific trees and things like that, if that would be amenable to you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Okay. I will, I don't think I can put my number in the chat here, but if you call the airport tomorrow and ask for me, I'll be there to talk to you.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Is that very helpful to you? I hope that, I know it's not answering the questions, but I'm hoping that helps. And you should be reaching out to the city of East Haven, because if he's going to expand his junkyard, he's got to meet a bunch of rulings too to get through that. So we in New Haven don't have any rules to say anything to East Haven developers or anything as much as you. So.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a great evening now and a safe one.
Thank you. You as well.
Is anyone else in the public that would like to speak on any item, on this item? Is anybody from the public would like to speak on item 3, Tweed? For the last time, anybody from the public would like to speak on any of these items, all 3 of them, anybody from the public? All right, I obtain a motion to close the public section if somebody would like to make it.
I'll make a motion to close the public portion of this.
Okay, and I hear a second. All right, thank you. Discussion, any discussion on closing the public section? Seeing no discussion on that, I will give a roll call for closing the public. Alder Douglas.
Yes.
Alder Edwards.
Yes.
Alder Cupo.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right, I think I got everything. Great. All right, now I'll obtain motions on moving items. For item 1, would somebody like to move it?
So move. Yeah, I'd like to.
Wait a minute, second on it? Any second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. All right, Alder Douglas?
Yeah, I think on this first item, I think it's a win-win situation for the city and for some new homeowners. Those properties have been vacant for quite some time, and it's good that the city took some interest in developing them. I know they were getting some feedback about doing that with those properties, but I think it's a good thing, and especially when the alders have complied. They're in line with it. They're appreciating it, so I think we should move it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So, okay, going by the way we had the meeting, so there is an amendment for 2 of these properties, correct, Mickey?
There is an amendment substitution, but I believe it just adjusts one property by reducing the AMI from 100 to 80.
All right, so do we have to make an amendment?
Okay, wonderful. So
Yes, Alder Acting Chair. Move by substitution to substitute the newest version.
All right, so, all right, so, somebody's gonna have to, but I see two hands up. Can we hold off on making that amendment? I'll let my colleague speak first. I figured if that's okay with you, Mr. Lucas? All right, I see two hands up. I'm gonna go with the first one. I see Alder Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to also second what Alder Douglas said. I am so glad that that vacant lot that is part of my ward is now going to be occupied. It's going to be occupied with brand new homes, brand new homeowners, and the opportunity for our community to continue to flourish. Winchester Avenue and the surrounding area where the rest of those homes are, it looks beautiful and it's gonna flourish. And the more we have it occupied, the better off we are. And it just looks like a community again. So I am thankful for the work that has been done to get those homes built up and get them sold. There were a couple hiccups along the way with communication and stuff, but overall, it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. And I am glad the city of New Haven took that project on. So I definitely would like to approve this project. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alder Cupo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to back up what my colleagues, Alder Douglas and Alder Edwards have said. I also find it encouraging that the AMI has been dropped down from 100 to 80. I think we're all in this committee in agreement about the importance of affordable housing, deeply affordable housing for folks who can afford it to live in this city. And so I back up and support what's already been said. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, so now we would need an amendment for that correction to changing it to 80. So
Make a motion to accept the amendment on the proposed changes pertaining to the pricing of the units. Yeah, that's it, basically. Yeah.
all right, second on the amendment.
Second.
Okay, discussion on the amendment? Any discussion? I'll just say that I'm very glad that they were able to drop another one down to be more affordable, to help to improve the quality of life in that community. It's long overdue, so it's a great thing that they were able to be foresight and looking forward to helping more. So all in favor to the amendment? I'm going to go to roll call. Alder Douglas.
Yes.
Cupo.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right. Now that it's been amended and now we're going back to its amended, the motion to now we're going to be voting on the new version for this going forward. So I'm going to give the roll call again. Alder Douglas. You're on my.
Yes. Yes.
Alder Cupo.
Yes.
Alder Edwards.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
And I forgot about myself, Alder DeCola, yes. I forgot about myself. All right, wonderful. Now we'll move to the second thing on the item, Beulah Land Development. I need a motion on that.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the agreement with Beulah Land and the city and all involved. I think it's a long time coming to see that block, that whole part of that neighborhood come back to life again.
All right.
God bless you all from Beulah Land. You made a change. You made a big difference in that whole piece of our city. You know, it's been a long time since I've rode down that Dixwell Avenue. Was proud to say that this was my part of neighborhood that I came up in. Now, once again, I'll be able to do that. So thank you, and I support it fully.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Thank you, Mr. Douglas. Very, very good. I
Yeah,
I
that was
agree.
my-
It was long overdue. Anybody else would like to say anything on this item? I see no other discussion on it. Okay. Starting with Douglas,
Yes,
Hupo,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
and myself, yes.
yes.
Wonderful. Second item now. Now we'll move on to item 3. Can I have a motion for Tweed? Somebody move the item?
I make a motion to move the item number 3 regarding Tweed Airport.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing that it's in my ward, this is just, FAA has been changing the rules on our airport for many decades. As we move forward, a new rule comes in, and it's all for the safety of the residents and the people that are flying on the planes. And so I just feel that this is one step. There'll be another one, but like everything else in the city of New Haven, it's always baby steps, but we get there. So, and so any other discussion on Tweet? All right, seeing none, we'll do roll call. Alder Douglas,
yes,
Alder Cupo,
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez,
Yes.
Alder Edwards,
Yes.
and myself, a yes. Thank you. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
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 Wonderful. Any discussion?
Yes,
No?
thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, well, let's got a vote on it yet. Okay, starting with Alder Douglas,
Yes,
Alder Cupo,
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez,
Yes.
Alder Edwards,
Yes.
and myself. Good night, all, and be safe.
Good night.
good night, everyone. Stay safe. Go to Q House now.